Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Nick Cosgrove and I'm back with this week's No Filter Q&A. This is the episode where I answer all questions related to diet, training, and supplementation that I've received over the last 7 days from our in-house clients, online clients, as well as a few of our online followers. Remember, if you have any questions related to your nutritional plan, workout program, supplements you are currently taking, not taking, or considering taking, please feel free to email me those questions at nick@foreverfitperformance.com, or you can DM me your questions on my Instagram at fitcosgrove_. All right, let's get started with this week's No Filter Q&A with question number one. Nick, what's the best way to stay motivated to work out consistently, especially when you're not seeing immediate results? You have to create goals that go beyond your aesthetics. I've talked about this in the past. If aesthetics gets you into the gym, as in you want to lose fat, you want to build muscle, you want to transform your physique, that's a great motivating factor to get you into the gym. But it's not going to keep you in the gym because it's a short-term goal. There's going to become times when you hit a plateau with your weight loss. There's going to become times when you hit a barrier and you're not able to increase the weight that you're lifting. There's going to come times where you become stagnant with your physique and you're not seeing any changes. And it's going to frustrate the hell out of you. And if you don't have a long-term goal, you're going to want to give up and quit. And this is why I tell clients all the time, it's important to constantly create short-term goals, but also have a long-term goal in mind. And that long-term goal could be something as in, I want to live a long, productive life. I don't want to have to go on all these medications. I don't want to go on heart medications. I don't want to go on blood pressure medications. I don't want to have to rely on stimulants to just give me enough energy to get through my day. So how do you get through all that without having to take these medications or stimulants? Well, you're going to give yourself a better chance if you're active, fit, and healthy. And the only way to be active, fit, and healthy is by exercising on a regular basis. So for someone like me, that's my long-term goal. It's that I want to live as long, productive life and not have to rely on these medications. I want to be able to wake up at 5 in the morning and not need a double espresso or a cup of coffee to just give me a jolt to get through my day. I want to be able to fall asleep without having to take sleep aids. So I really attribute the fact that I feel so good, have lots of energy, tons of energy, and think more clearly and more productive in life. I attribute that to my workouts. So my long-term goal is to continue to live a life like that, and therefore that keeps me going to the gym. Now, your long-term goal might be different, but it's important that you set a goal that you have a long-term vision of how you want to achieve that goal. And you can constantly be trying to achieve that goal. So it's always within reach, but you never fully accomplish it. So it just keeps, it's almost like keeping the carrot in front of the horse's nose. It's keeping you going. It's keeping you motivated. I tell you, if your only motivating factor is I want to build big arms, a big chest, or I want to get a great butt, that's great, but it's not a long-term goal. And what's going to happen is you're going to burn out. I've seen it time and time again. So if aesthetics gets you into the gym, great. But you need to have a long-term goal that's going to keep you in the gym. And for a lot of people I work with, sometimes I work with people who are in their 60s and they're like, they come to me and say, Nick, I want to be able to keep up with my grandkids. I'm like, that's a great long-term goal, right? They're retired now. They want to stay active and fit. They want to be able to do things. They don't just want to sit in a chair all day. I have some clients who are now in their late 70s and they're fine. They've got lots of energy. They're walking around, no problem, right? So I really attribute a lot of these health conditions, not all health conditions, but a lot of health conditions that people have to living a sedentary and inactive lifestyle. And if people just took a little bit more care of themselves, just like they do with, say, their business or their jobs, and put that much effort and energy into their bodies and their health, I feel like most people would live a longer, more productive, and healthy life. Okay. And that's why I constantly preach the importance of exercising on a regular basis. So establish a long-term goal, something that's going to give you that focus and that extra motivation when you stop seeing results when you're of your physique, or you hit a plateau in the gym with your weights. Okay. Because I promise you, if you don't have that goal in your mind, you're going to fail. You're going to burn out. You're going to become frustrated. And there's a good chance you're going to stop going to the gym. So figure out what your long-term goal is. I can't tell you what that long-term goal is. You have to figure that out. But that's what's going to keep you going back to the gym on a regular basis during the times that you're not seeing any changes for your physiques, because those times will come. I can promise you that. All right. Okay, next question. Nick, how do you create a balanced workout routine that targets both strength and cardio? Circuit training. Circuit training works really well for this. Now, if you're in a commercial gym, I understand that's a little bit more challenging to do. However, if you're in a private training facility like I am, you can do circuit trains. For example, you could throw in an incline barbell press and circuit train that with a lat pull down and then throw in a flat dumbbell press and finish up with a seated row. You've just knocked out four exercises for your chest and back. You do that 12 to 15 rep range I always talk about. Try to do all four stations in a row with little to no rest in between. Once you finish that last station, give yourself about a minute to 90 seconds and repeat two or three more times. Okay. That's a great way to train because it's working both your cardiovascular system as well as your muscular endurance system. So it's like a two in one. Okay. If you're at a commercial gym, it's a little bit harder to do that, but it's not impossible because, for example, you can do a let's say you can do a flat dumbbell bench press, and then on top of that, you could throw in some one arm dumbbell throws, and then you can finish up with some bench push-ups. So you're still trying to do like a chest and back agonist versus antagonist circuit there. It's a three in one. You're doing it all in one bench. So it can be done. What you don't want to do is do an exercise and just sit there for 5 minutes looking at your phone or just resting. Like you don't want to do that. You want to keep your heart rate relatively high. Okay. It doesn't need to be crazy high. It doesn't need to be at like 190 beats per minute, but you want to keep it in that 120 to 140 beats per minute range. That's a good range when you're training with weights, in my opinion. So that's a great way to do both. You could also do what a lot of people like to do is they like to do their weights for the first part of the workout, and then they get on a treadmill or elliptical trainer, Stairmaster, or whatever for the last 20, 30 minutes of their workout. So you can kind of break it down to two. But I really like to incorporate circuit training. I do circuit training with all of my clients because most of my clients who work with me in person don't go to other gyms on their own. So the only time that they're in a gym is with me. So I want to utilize every single moment that they have in the gym to the best of my ability. And therefore, I give them tons of circuits. So if we're doing, like I said, that chest and back circuit, do two exercises for the chest, two for the back, throw in a press, throw in a fly, throw in a row, throw in a pull down, do it three or four times, move on to another circuit. Okay. So it can be done. You just have to be a little bit creative with your workouts. But that's a great way to not only work your cardiovascular system and your muscular endurance system, but it's also a great way just overall to maximize your time in the gym because you're utilizing your time more efficiently too. You're doing more work in less time. I just got out of the gym right now and I finished a set with two of my guys who are in their 60s and they just finished 64 sets in 60 minutes. We did a chest workout and ab workout. So, I mean, that's a lot of volume, very little rest, very high, very intensity. They're drenched in sweat afterwards. And it shows you that if you maximize your time in the gym, you're going to get even better results but at the same time, you're going to work your muscular system and your cardiovascular system two in one. So my recommendation to you, throw in some circuit training. That's the best way to work both. All right. Nick, what are some common workout mistakes that you see people who are new to the gym make, and how can they avoid them? There's quite a few mistakes I see. Um, the latest one that I see though now is a lot of people on their phones following these workout videos that are on YouTube. And honestly, I see this a lot. Especially at my gym, I see a lot of people who like tenants who work on our building. They come down and they don't know what they're doing, so they're following a video that they see on YouTube. The problem with that is they're watching, let's say it's a trainer doing an exercise, but then they do the exercise, but their form and technique is completely off, and no one's there to correct them. So this is a huge mistake because you think it's like the monkey see, monkey do. Well, I'm just going to copy what this person's doing, but you're not really watching what you're doing. You're just watching what the person on your phone is doing. And I see this all the time. And it usually leads to injury. I saw someone a few weeks ago, they were doing these one arm push ups. I'm like, why are you doing one arm push ups? It's very obvious that you are new to the gym. It's very obvious that you're not physically fit yet. So, I mean, I don't even do one arm push ups. So, why are you doing one arm push ups? So, you want to make sure that if you are new to the gym, that you're following a beginner program and you start to slowly progress. Slowly increase your weights, slowly add in more exercises, slowly add in more reps, more sets, more volume, slowly increase that intensity. You don't just go from 0 to 100 because it's a surefire way to get injured. So that's a huge mistake I see. So besides people just on their phones watching trainers or social media influencers do these exercises and then they copy them and do the exercises completely wrong, there's others, but that's the big one I'm seeing these days. There's always trends, right? Another one I see with a lot of guys, they go into the gym and they bench press. And that's all they do. They bench press. They do it every day. They come in 5 days a week. They bench press. They want big chest. They do bench press and curls. I'm like, oh my God. Not only is that going to lead to injury, it's going to lead to muscular imbalances. Okay. You start neglecting your back, you start neglecting your traps, you're neglecting your glutes, your hamstrings, your quads. You're going to create an injury. You're going to have muscular imbalances and you're going to look ridiculous because you might have a nice chest and nice arms, but you're going to have these small little shoulders, small little legs. So it's important that when you put together a program, that you work every single muscle group evenly. Okay. And that way you're going to avoid injury and you're going to avoid muscular imbalances. Another mistake I see people make is they don't warm up properly. Now, what I mean by that is you don't have to come into the gym and walk on a treadmill for 10 minutes. In fact, I don't recommend anyone do that. I think that's pointless. But what you can do is you can throw in some dynamic stretches, which I've talked about numerous times, which is moving your body, shoulder rotations. You could do some arm rotations. You could do running in one spot for your knees and your hip flexors, hip abductors. There's numerous dynamic stretches that you can do that will help release synovial fluid into your joints and tendons and ligaments. Okay. So that's also important that you want to make sure that you warm up efficiently. Pyramid your sets up. So start with a light weight, do that 12 to 15 reps, slowly increase your weight, bring your rep range down, maybe that 10 to 12 rep range. But as long as you're warming up sufficiently, you will not get injured. Okay. So really, those are the things that I see right now. And I see a lot of it. And again, if you are new to the gym, you're making a huge mistake by not working with a personal trainer. I can't stress this enough. It's going to be the best ROI that you ever place on your health. And if you really can't afford to work with a trainer, just book 6 sessions, just so you at least learn some basic form and technique. Because what you learn in those 6 sessions, granted, if you're working with an experienced and knowledgeable trainer, you're going to find that that's going to allow you to get optimal results with not only your physique, but it's going to keep you in the gym injury free. Okay, because you'll understand the premises of how to put together a program that's going to be designed specifically for you and your goals. All right. Okay, next question. Nick, how can I tell if I'm overtraining? Okay, so well, I mean, the generic symptoms of overtraining is when people start to feel burnout, they're constantly fatigued, you're feeling weaker in the gym. Those are all symptoms of overtraining. But as I've talked about in the past, I'm a firm believer that the only people that overtrain are people that don't know how to train. So, for example, the people who I mentioned in the last question who go into the gym and bench press every day, that's overtraining. You're doing the same thing over and over again. But if you go into the gym one day and you bench press, and the next day you do rows, and the day after that you do dumbbell shoulder presses, and the day after that you do dumbbell bicep curls, and the day after that you do barbell back squats, you're not going to overtrain because you're training a different muscle group every day. So it's all about training intelligently, approaching each workout methodically. Okay, so this is why I've talked about that I'm truly not a firm believer in overtraining if you're training intelligently. If you're not training intelligently, then yeah, you're going to overtrain. So the symptoms, and you, like I said, you can do a simple Google search and they'll give you those symptoms. And like fatigue is one of them, burnout's the other one. You're not going to be able to sleep properly. You're going to feel weaker in the gym, loss of appetite, goes on and on. But in my opinion, the best way to avoid overtraining is don't do the same thing every day in the gym. In fact, don't even do the same thing 3 times a week in the gym. So if you bench press on Mondays, don't bench press again until the following Monday. Okay. Give your body a full 6 days of recovery before you do it again. And that way, in my opinion, you could really train every day of the week if you want to avoid injury. A lot of people like to take a few days off from the gym just for the mental break, and that's fine. Like I always tell clients, if you want to take 1 or 2 days off the gym, take it. For me personally, I train every day. I don't even remember the last time I took a day off from training because I always have a different muscle group to train. So I never feel like I'm overtrained. If I feel like I'm overtrained, I'm obviously doing something wrong. It could be whether it could be with my training, it could be with my diet, it could be with my sleep, it could be with my recovery, it could be with my supplementation, but I'm doing something wrong. Okay. And that's another thing too, is if you are feeling like, hey, you know what? I am feeling a little bit more tired. I am feeling a bit more weak in the gym, but I'm not doing the same thing every day in the gym. Okay, well, in your case, you might want to look at your diet. Are you getting enough nutrients into your diet? Right? Are you supplementing properly? Are you getting in your vitamin C, your vitamin D, your omega-3, your zinc? Okay. Are you making sure that you're getting in enough complex carbohydrates, healthy fats, lean proteins? So all this stuff correlates, right? So I'm a firm believer that if you are neglecting your nutrition or you're neglecting your supplement protocol or you're neglecting your training philosophy, it's going to lead to overtraining. But if you're checking all those boxes and you're ensuring that everything lines up properly, you're not going to overtrain. Okay. So the best way to avoid injury, don't train stupid. Best way to make sure that you don't overtrain yourself, don't do the same thing every day. Best way to make sure that you're going to recover properly, make sure that your diet's in check, your supplement protocol is in check, and you're getting enough rest and recovery. You won't overtrain. All right. Okay. Okay. Nick, what are some key differences between working out for fat loss versus building muscle? In my opinion, there is no difference. Okay. Because if you're training to build muscle, you're trained to burn fat. Because the more muscle that you carry, the more fat you're going to burn. I know I mentioned this pretty much on every episode, but the more muscle mass you have, the more calories you burn in a rested state. The more calories you burn in a rested state, guess what? That's going to equate to fat loss. So there's really no difference. When I have a client come to me and say, I want to lose 50 pounds, and I have another client come to me and say, I want to gain 50 pounds, the training program pretty much stays the same. Where I make the changes is on their diets, right? If they are working with me on their diets. And I'll say, well, obviously, the person who needs to gain 50 pounds, we're going to have to put you into somewhat of a caloric surplus. The person who needs to lose 50 pounds, we're going to put you into somewhat of a caloric deficit, not an extreme caloric deficit, but somewhat of a caloric deficit. Okay. So it's where the diet changes mainly with those two types of goals. But the training program can remain the exact same. It's the same thing when I train men versus women. A lot of people think, well, you need to train women differently than men. No, you don't. There's no reason to. Okay. What you need to do is you need to listen to your client. And if you have a client who's coming to you and says, I really feel that my lower body is lagging, and you assess their physique and go, you know what? I agree with you. It is. So we're going to give a little bit more priority to your lower body. We're not going to neglect your upper body, but we're going to give more priority to your lower body. So that might mean instead of doing one leg day, we're going to do 2 leg days a week, but we're not going to do the same leg day. So I said in the other question. So one day might be a quadricep leg day, and the next day will be glute, hamstrings, and calves. Okay, so that's a great way to train a lagging body part is to split it up, but just make sure you're not doing the same thing again. Okay, because that's going to lead to overtraining. So that's really the main difference when it comes to training for fat loss versus muscle building is that there is no difference when it comes to the training program, but it's the diet that really needs to make the change. Okay. And also the supplement protocol too, to some degree. And also obviously your genetics are going to play a role. Your lifestyle is going to play a role. Am I working with an endomorph versus an ectomorph versus a mesomorph? So all those things are factors to take into consideration too when you're putting together a nutritional plan with a workout program. But the only thing that's going to change in those two goals would be the nutritional plan and supplement protocol. Training program should remain the exact same, in my opinion. All right. Next question. Nick, what are your thoughts on recovery days and how to incorporate them into a weekly workout plan? So, with recovery days, I say take them when you need them. I don't have scheduled recovery days. I know I have clients that have scheduled recovery days because they just have days where they don't see me. So, I guess those are scheduled recovery days. But if you're working out on your own, for me, I just take time off when I feel I need time off. So if I feel good, I've got lots of energy. Even if I'm on like day 20, I'll still train. If I'm feeling like, I'm a little sore today, I'm just mentally a little bit drained. Maybe I have some stresses going on in my life. I'm like, it's not going to be a good workout. I'll take the day off from the gym. So it goes back to listening to your body. Okay. And I feel like a lot of people don't listen to their body. They just look at their schedule and they go, oh, today's leg day or today's arm day or today's chest day. I'm like, no, not necessarily. There's been numerous times I've gone into the gym and it's technically my scheduled leg day, but I'm like, you know what? My knee's feeling a little off today. My hips feeling a little off today. Just because it's my scheduled leg day doesn't mean I'm going to do legs. I'll do legs tomorrow, or maybe I'll do legs the day after that. Instead, I'm going to do chest today, or I'm going to do shoulders today. So you really have to listen to your body and be in tune with the workout. There's numerous times too where I've actually worked with clients and we're scheduled to do a chest and back day, and all of a sudden we get under the bar and start benching. Like my shoulder's feeling a little iffy today. It's negligent of me to say, well, too bad, suck it up, let's keep going. No, I'll switch that workout. I'm like, you know what? We're not going to do chest and back day. Let's do bis and tris today. We'll save chest and back for later on this week. And I've done that numerous times. And that's why it's important to be able to work with a trainer or coach that can customize the program on the fly for you if and when necessary. Okay, so you have to listen to your body. That's the main take-home message for this one. Listen to your body and adapt your workout accordingly based on what your body's telling you for that day. And that's how you're going to remain injury free. And if you need to recover, if you do need that day off, take it. If your body is screaming at you to take a day off, take it. Don't keep pushing yourself because you're going to make that feeling worse. And that's why a lot of people do get sick because they don't listen to their body and they push themselves when they shouldn't be pushing themselves. I'm always a firm believer in pushing yourself to the fullest, but at the end of the day, we're human beings, we're not machines. So if your body is saying, hey, take a day off, take a day off, not only will you feel better, but you'll perform better in the gym the following day or the day after that. So always listen to your body. Okay. Nick, how important is nutrition in a fitness routine, and what are some general dietary tips for optimal performance? So you've heard of that saying that it's 80% diet, 20% training. And I've talked about in the past that I disagree with that. I believe it's 50-50. They're equally important. However, you can't have a good workout unless you have a good diet, period. Okay. It's not going to happen. You're not going to perform at optimal levels if you're having ding dongs and donuts and muffins before you train. Okay. You want to make sure that you're including, like I said before, a lot of complex carbohydrates. So stuff like oatmeal, cream of rice, Ezekiel bread, sweet potatoes, yams, brown rice, quinoa, a lot of lean protein sources, chicken breasts, beans, lentils, turkey breasts, cod, tilapia, tons of healthy fats, natural peanut butter, natural almond butter, cashew butter, extra virgin olive oil, almonds, avocados, omega-3 eggs. So you want to make sure that you're fitting those foods into a plan that's going to allow you to not only perform at optimal levels in the gym, but create a physique that's going to have lots of muscle and very minimal body fat. Okay. So dietary nutrition is very important. It's equally, not more, it's equally as important as the training. Okay. The two go hand in hand. You really can't have one without the other. And I've seen it. And I've talked about this, I think I talked about it last week, how I've seen people come to the gym and they train really hard. They do. But out there in their diet is shit. And it shows. It shows in their physique. It even shows like to a degree in their performance because sometimes they will train hard and other times they won't train as hard because depends on what they've had to eat the day before, or maybe it was a night out drinking, whatever it is. So that really affects your performance, which of course will affect your results with your health and physique. So you really want to make sure that your diet's in check. You want to make sure that you're putting in your fats throughout the day where they need to be. And I've talked about this in the past about the importance of surrounding your fats, not surrounding your fats, sorry, but putting your fats after your workout as opposed to before your workout, because most people who consume fats pre-workout typically feel a little bit more nauseous, right? Because fats take longer for the body to digest. So that's why my recommendation in this case would be to have fats after your workout. Have complex carbohydrates and lean proteins before your workout. Okay, because that's going to allow you to replenish glycogen storages, something that's easy to digest, maybe some egg whites and some oatmeal. That's very easy on the body, high in fiber, and will allow you to stay fuller for a longer period of time. So your blood sugar levels are not doing this, your insulin levels are not crashing, and you're able to have a good amount of energy throughout your entire workout. So again, you want to put together a structured nutritional plan that's going to complement your training program so the two go hand in hand. If you perform better in the gym, you're going to achieve better results with your health and your physique. It's simple as that. So make sure your diet's in check, make sure your training's in check, and you're going to really see the benefits of your performance in the gym and your results with your physique and your health. All right. Okay, a few more questions here. Nick, how do you approach a workout program if you're just starting out and have no prior experience? I hire a personal trainer that can help me design a customized training program that's going to allow me to excel in the gym. And again, it goes back to if you are working with a coach or trainer, it's like a cheat sheet because you're going to skip all those mistakes that beginners make. You're not going to waste your time in the gym. I mean, who the hell wants to waste their time in the gym? And I do see this time and time again, people wasting their time in the gym. I don't want to waste my time in the gym. It's the same thing with finances and investments. I mean, I'm not a stock market guy, but I hire people that will invest for me because they're the professionals. So I've got a cheat sheet to the stock market. So it's the same thing in the gym. If you have a coach or trainer in your corner, they'll have a cheat sheet for you that's going to allow you to progress with your physique and your health in a quicker and more efficient manner. If you're doing it on your own and you have zero experience when it comes to anatomy, physiology, and exercise science as a whole, and dietary nutrition, you're wandering around aimlessly in the dark. And a lot of people, if you're someone who can take the time and to learn about it on top of your 40 plus hour a week job, great, do it. But most people don't. They watch something on YouTube or Instagram Reels and they go and copy it, like I said earlier, and then they make mistakes and their technique and form is off. They get injured, they get frustrated, not seeing results, and then that's it. They're done. And honestly, that's why 9 out of 10 people quit the gym within the first, I think it was that stat was showing within the first like 3 months. And it truly is because they have no idea what they're doing. They're not seeing results. They're constantly feeling sore in a bad way, not a good way. And like, who the hell wants to do that? So do it properly. Hire a professional that can help you excel in the gym. That's going to take your physique to the next level. That's going to teach you about dietary nutrition and how to put together a proper supplement protocol. That's going to allow you to be your personal best. If you're not doing that and you're a beginner, you're making a huge mistake. Okay. Again, it's like the stock market analogy. If you don't know anything about the stock market and you don't know how to invest, and you go in there blindly of 100K, invest in stocks that you think are good to invest in, there's a very good chance that you're going to lose that 100K or at least most of it. Whereas if you work with a professional, you have a better chance of turning that 100K into 500K. Same thing goes in the gym. Okay. So hire a professional that can help you because it's going to make a load of difference. And as I said, it's the best ROI you're ever going to make on your health and physique by working with an experienced, knowledgeable, and reputable personal trainer. It truly is the best investment you'll ever make on your health and physique. Okay. Uh, okay, last question. Nick, how do you recommend people manage injuries or setbacks in their fitness journey? Okay, so injuries are a bitch. They do. I mean, and unfortunately, I gotta tell you, like the longer that you train, even if you train with perfect form, perfect technique, the chances of you getting injured do go up because it's just like a car. You're putting more mileage on your body. So the more miles you put on a car, even if it's the greatest car in the world, there's a chance that something's going to go wrong. And it might just be a slight injury or a slight problem with the car, but something's going to give, right? I've had that before. The important thing to know though is when you have an injury is you need to be able to assess what that injury is, where that injury is, what you can do, what you can't do as far as certain planes and ranges of motion, which muscle groups you might be able to train versus which ones you need to back off a little bit, which angles you can do, which angles you shouldn't do. And that's all again trial and error and comes from experience. But I would not recommend to anyone who gets an injury to stop training. That to me is cookie cutter advice that you hear sometimes from physiotherapists or from doctors, but you usually hear it from people who don't go to the gym and don't have a clue as to what they're doing when it comes to resistance training and numerous benefits that are offered from resistance training. So, for example, I had a client a few months ago who dislocated his shoulder skiing. We still trained. In fact, we trained still 4 times a week. The only thing that changed was we weren't able to do shoulder presses. We weren't able to do barbell bench presses. We weren't able to do dumbbell lateral raises. However, we could still do rows. We could still do pull downs. We could still do squats. We could still do lunges. We could still do deadlifts. So it's all about making sure that you're not making the injury worse, but at the same time, not neglecting your entire body and becoming completely sedentary and active because you have one injury in one area of your body, whether that be your shoulder, your knee, your hip, whatever it is, you don't need to stop training as a whole. Okay. A few years ago, when I had my appendix taken out, I was told I wasn't going to be able to lift anything more than 5 pounds for 6 weeks. Now, for me, my job, I have to lift weight. I have to pass people weight. I have to spot weight. Yeah, I can take time off from my own workouts, but I still need to be able to help people during their workouts, which requires me to lift weights at times that are more than 5 pounds. So for me, what I did was I continued to go to the gym and still do my workouts, my own workouts. So I was able to help clients do their workouts, but I wasn't trying to set PRs. I wasn't doing any abdominal work. But I was still able to sit on a bench and I was still able to do dumbbell curls. I was still able to stand near a cable and I was still able to do rope extensions for my triceps. I was still able to do seated rows just a little bit lighter than I normally would do. I was actually still able to bench press, but again, I was making sure that I was keeping my weight on the lighter side. I wasn't trying to hit PRs. I wasn't trying to get these crazy intense workouts. I was just trying to make sure that my body was continuously moving and lifting weights so I was able to do my job properly. Okay. And that was my goal for that 6 period time or however long it took me to recover from the appendix surgery. So you really have to, it comes back to listen to your body. Okay. And you really have to make sure too that whatever injury you're doing, you're being proactive to help rehabilitate that injury. So whether that's through IMS, whether that's going to see a physiotherapist, whether that's going to regular massage therapy, or whether it's just, again, you creating movement yourself through dynamic stretching, static stretching, going to a few yoga classes, the more proactive you are, the faster you're going to recover from that injury. But the biggest mistake you could make is to stop training or going to the gym because you're dealing with an injury, because that's only going to create worse problems. Yeah, you might recover from that injury, but what's going to happen somewhere else, right? You're going to lose muscle mass. You might put on some body fat. You become more inactive, more sedentary. It's going to be harder to get back into the gym. So when you're dealing with an injury, it's important to assess where that injury is, assess what you can do, what you can't do, where you need to back off the weights, where you can increase the weights, and continue to go to the gym on a regular basis because it can be done. Okay, and I don't care what the injury is, it can be done. I've seen it with multiple people, done it myself over the years. Anyway, that's it for this week's No Filter Q&A. This episode will be going up on Monday, February the 17th. As a reminder, if you have any questions related to your nutritional plan, workout program, supplements you are currently taking, not taking, or considering taking, please feel free to email me those questions at nick@foreverfitperformance.com, or you can DM me your questions on my Instagram at @fitcosgrove_. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for supporting my YouTube channel, my online coaching business, my in-house personal training business here in Vancouver, British Columbia. I truly do appreciate all the support that I receive from all of you, as well as all the feedback. Thanks once again, and I will see you all next week. Bye for now.